Express yourself. Express yourself. I do it. See, it's not what you look like when you're doing what you're doing. Express yourself. I do it. Express yourself.
Welcome back to the 2012 World Snooker Seniors. Steve Davis lost to Darren Morgan, defending champion as well. Darren is through to the semis, as is Dino Kane. Beat one of the favourites, Jimmy White, by 2 frames to 1. Our last match this afternoon features Tony Knowles against Nigel Bond. But as you can see, next up, Alain Robidoux against Tony Chappel. Right, just 2 places remain for a semi-final place. Who will it be? Let's get match number 3 underway.
And welcome to the action. It's the Wild Press Park World Seniors Championship, brought to you by World Snooker. We're coming to you live from Portsmouth, and a very warm welcome to our viewers joining us live and exclusive here on Sky Sports HD. 3 frames, our referee in charge is Arian Williams, and now it's time to meet the players. So here we go then. Would you please welcome Alain Robidoux and Tony Chappel.
Alain, we'll start with you. 2 big names have already gone out as a snooker player in the last day of an event. Does that make a difference? Do you fancy your chances more?
Well, no. The thing is very important, just to play well and stay concentrate on your game and stay, focus on every shot. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You've got to play well to win this, whatever you do.
We saw the robot that you did earlier on. Will you be producing that at any stage during the game?
No, I don't think so. That's the way I should play, though.
It looked good. Tony, before the tournament started, I tipped Alain to do quite well in it, but then that was before I saw how well you were queuing. You must be so pleased with how you played under the lights yesterday.
Yeah, I was just glad to get through, as I said yesterday. You don't know what to expect. I haven't played under these conditions for a long time, so the first goal was not to embarrass yourself. So now we've got past that. Hopefully, start playing a little bit better again.
Well, let's find out. Tony Chappel, Alain Robidoux. Good luck, guys. And remember, you can send us a tweet if you like at any stage during this game or any stage in the afternoon. Any questions you've got for anyone in the comms box or any of the players, just send your Twitter to @SkySnooker. Let's hand over to our boys in the box, Clive Everton. And who you got next to you, Clive?
A very unfamiliar partner.
Tony Chappel to break.
Both these players have been off the tour for a long time and have only played irregularly since then, and hardly at all in any form of competition, although Alain Robidoux did win the Canadian Championship 3 years ago. (1997) World Championship semi-finalist at the Crucible, and then something awful happened to him. He went home, he wanted some alterations made to his cue, and his cue repairer broke the cue. He tried 7 or 8 cues the following season, didn't like any of them, and in fact got through the whole season without winning a single match.
I suppose, Clive, when you hear stories like that, it surprises you even more when you hear about Ronnie O'Sullivan can play with the cue 1 week and give it away to someone the next.
Well, absolutely remarkable. He won the Masters 2 or 3 years ago. He broke his cue in frustration on the eve of the tournament, picked up a new cue, won the event.
Alain Robidoux, 8.
Well, Mr. Red, a relatively easy one into the corner pocket. Had to force it in to bring the white ball back to go up for the blue. Wasn't the easiest, but he'll be disappointed to have missed it, and he's let Chappel in.
One of the chief differences you see in players who've come off the tour, they miss shots that are well within their range of ability more often than when they're really match tight. Tony Chappell told me that he felt absolutely terrible for the first 10 minutes of his match against Tony Drago yesterday, but
6.
as soon as he potted a couple of balls, he felt as if he wanted to go for everything. But he did restrain himself. He said to himself, well, that's not the way I played years ago. And I must say he played pretty steadily for the rest of the match.
He was always a tough player to beat in his day. He was the sort of player that no one really wanted to draw.
7.
And you can see why over the last couple of days he's produced some fine stuff. Well, he didn't want that. He wanted to flick that red, but he wanted to just hit it half ball and the white would come down next to it, and he wanted to take it into the opposite pocket that the black went in, but he hit it too full. As it is, he's left himself a long, missable red.
Tony Chappell, 14.
Yes, in match practice or not, he'd be disappointed it was only 14, but he lost position. That was a reserve option he had to take on.
One.
All the players that haven't been on the circuit for a long time have all commented just how fast the table is. It even plays slightly faster than the best table in their club, if that makes sense. This one's connected to the power supply. It's heated up. The balls run smoother.
Three.
It surprised me when I saw Alain when he walked through the door yesterday, how much he hasn't changed, Clive. Looks exactly the same, doesn't he?
Four.
52 years of age, but looking well on it. 5 handicap golfer.
I just wonder if he starts beating Tony Chappell, if Tony will go left-handed. Do you remember that, Clive? With Ronnie?
I do.
12.
Ronnie O'Sullivan played Alain Robidoux at the Crucible and started to play a few shots left-handed, and Alain thought that he was taking the mickey out of him, but he didn't really realise just how well Ronnie can play left-handed. Touch of the Jimmy Hills with that chin.
I was going to say, I know Dino Kane had a blaster on his. I'm surprised Alain's not got one.
Alain Robidoux, 19.
He misses a straight red with the rest, albeit having to screw back. And there's a bit of distance between cue ball and object ball.
Yeah, no damage done. Safety for Tony. Just got to make sure you don't have the double kiss on the way back on this, but he's cleared that. Underhit it somewhat. Also one of the best trick shot, easy for me to say, trick shot players on the circuit.
Including a vast array of finger spin tricks.
Yeah, if ever you see him in the pool hall and he claims to be able to get the black ball out of the pack of reds with 3 flicks, don't take the bet on. Oh, a teaser for Robidoux. Whenever you're playing a shot like this, you've just got to work out a route back to balk in case you miss it. That's what he was having a look at. Also having a look if the black goes, it only goes into the other corner pocket. I don't think he played that.
Well, something went terribly awry with his cueing there.
I bet you he lifts. Oh well, I thought he would have got up a bit more, but no, miles off. That was the problem. He wanted to find a way back to balk. Did too much with the cue ball. That could have been a lot worse though. This is not easy. Wiped his feet.
1.
Bit near jawish, but in it went. Tony Chappell's highest world ranking was 37th.
3.
Renowned as a tough competitor.
Four. Shot clock in operation.
When that thing goes off, I keep expecting a message from the pilot.
I wonder why you've not taken your seatbelt off, Clive.
10.
Well, this break's going to have to be with the pink
11.
at the moment. But he's soon going to have to start thinking about how to get that black out and the reds around it. The one, as we look to the right of the pink, goes into the right pocket. Which is the one he's trying to play on now. It's a bit shorter pace.
$17.
That's not a good shot. Yeah, that's the end of the break.
Tony Chappel, 17.
Even though that's not the biggest break he's made, Clive, I get the impression, having watched the play over the last couple of days, that that's the way to win these matches. Get in, make a 30 to 40 break, play a little bit of safety. I feel frames are being won with more smaller visits, if that makes sense, rather than one big one.
I think the important thing is not to make unforced errors. But there's one question I must ask you, Andy.
I wasn't there, Clive.
Is there going to be a century in this year's World Seniors?
Well, so far there hasn't been one, Clive. I think there will be.
Well, you were tormenting me yesterday trying to get a definite answer. Put it this way, they're less likely in short matches.
Let me ask you, Clive, I was reading your book that you've got out at the moment, and there's lots of references to Joe and Fred Davis, obviously. Did you get to play them much?
In the latter stages of his career, I practiced with Fred a lot, just before he won the World Billiards Championship in 1980. Deep into his 60s he was then.
One.
Well, he potted the red. He would have liked better position, but he was cannoning into other balls, so to some extent he was relying on a favourable run.
I'm going to ask you an impossible question, Clive. I like putting you under pressure. Joe Davis in his prime, how would he have got on with today's players?
Definitely not as good. The standard has gone up with each generation.
Top 16? Top 8?
Not as he played then, but of course a lot more is known about the game now, a lot more shots. That was a good long red from Robidoux, and the cue ball comes out of Borg.
Yeah, it was a good pot from distance as well. White comes around the back of the ball colours.
Blue ball.
And perfect for the blue. And he will consider this a frame winning chance. Oh, my word.
Alain Robidoux, 1.
It's amazing what we get up to in here, Clive, isn't it?
Well, what was I saying about unforced errors?
Well, that was such a massive chance. You can't ask for an easier blue into the middle than that. Can only assume he took his eye off the ball. Can I try and change my century yes answer to no, Clive?
I mean, regarding centuries, in a long match, players are just playing snooker for the first few frames, and then the character of the game tends to change when winning or losing becomes the immediate issue. In a best of three, it's an immediate issue virtually from the off.
Although I know you were commentating on Thursday in the Premier League, Stuart Bingham on 12 frames without reply knocked in 4 tons and could have had 6. Amazing performance that was by him. Who also has the same coach as Jimmy White.
Yes, Stephen Feeney, who's an apostle of the sight-right method of sighting. Coach is Stuart Bingham, and Jimmy White has just joined him.
Tony Chappel 9.
How can I give a brief explanation of the sight right method? Well, it's a method of sighting which works.
I'm in. You've got me. The difference in this opening frame. All on the left hand side of the table. The red is the tricky one out of the two. Oh, that's a great shot. That's a great shot.
1.
And the brown nudging the red closer to the pocket. I don't think it pops into that middle. Will you be thinking about the double, Clyde?
Possibly,
6.
but he won't want to cannon the brown into a better position. Because Chappell can win the frame without the aid of the brown, and Robidoux can't.
Well,
I'm really amazed that he moved the brown.
me too. Maybe he felt it was worth the risk taking the double on and he couldn't control the white around it. But listen, it's paid off. He's obviously done the right thing there. Well, 22 is the difference. Yellow makes 24.
9.
The green makes 27. With 22 on the table.
$11.
Slightly overhit that one. Got to use the rest now.
Frame ball.
Time extension, please.
It's for 1-0. But it turns out the risk on that double cannoning into the brown the ball is on now was well worth it. It was a bit scrappy. Both players looked at different times. Able to win the first frame.
18.
But it looks like it's going the way of Tony Chappell.
Tony Chappell 18.
Well, that should be more than enough. 31 the difference. Only 18 left.
Yeah, he needs 3 snookers and a prayer book. Do you think if this was a best of 9, he wouldn't be playing for these snookers? It's just because it's so close to the winning post when you start?
Possibly. In the world ranking events, you often see a player playing on for snookers if it's the deciding frame.
Foul.
Well, he won't be doing that anymore, I shouldn't think.
Tony Chappell 5.
See, now the rules of snooker state, and I think I'm right in saying, Clive, that you can't concede unless it's your go. Is that correct?
No, it's not the rules. It's
Etiquette?
It's etiquette, yes.
I'd be more than happy for my opponent to concede at any stage.
5.
Anyway, the point about this frame is that Tony Chappell hasn't made any significant unforced errors. Alain Robidoux made one, And
5 on the first frame.
this is why
Tony Chappel.
Chappel leads by a frame to 0. Tony Chappel is 1-0 up on Alain Robidoux. Tony Knowles versus Nigel Bond will complete this afternoon's entertainment. Alain, that frame seemed to change when you missed that simple blue. What happened there?
I can't remember the shot. Well, I don't know. I just probably didn't put enough concentration on it. That's it. I missed an easy blue, and Tony played well.
But after that blue, it seemed to sort of slip away from you. You didn't really get another clear-cut chance.
Yeah, you're right. I missed a couple easy shots, and it's very hard. Best of 3. I'm trying to put all my concentration there right at the start, but it's really hard to be focused when the match is so short.
Tony, you said after yesterday's game against Tony Drago, you hated the first 10 minutes. How are the first 10 in this game?
Pretty much the same as yesterday's. No, so I was just fortunate Alain missed a few simple balls, give me an opportunity to get in and be able to score a couple.
And nice to win, obviously, the first frame. And your long potting looked good in that frame.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I can't usually see that far down the end of the table, let alone be able to pot now.
Well, good luck, lads, in the second frame.
Thanks.
Thank you. Second frame. Alain Robidoux to break.
Tell you what, Clive, Paxman's got nothing on you. You're sort of questioning, is he? You go for the jugular. Why did you miss it? Oh, there's me telling Tony how well his long potting was in the last frame.
But he played it in such a way that he probably wasn't going to leave any other red if he happened to miss it. Tony Chappel has got a good calculation of risk against potential gain.
Well, he didn't come down to have a look at the pack when he played that shot. And he flicked one towards the corner pocket. Can Alain get through to it? I'll tell you what, that was made to look very easy.
Yes, rolling at that distance, at that speed, you can't afford to strike the cue ball even a fraction off centre, because it will drift away from the impact point that you need to pot the ball.
8.
I wouldn't dare connect the two here, Clive, but how many maximums have you commented on?
I've forgotten, Andy.
Really, that many? Oh dear, we're not going to see one today.
Alain Robidoux.
That might be down
8.
to stretching, because it wasn't that difficult a shot. Yeah, that was a good chance, and his face, your expression when he came off the table, either tells you he's disappointed with the miss, or his trousers were too tight. Again, a bit shorter pace. He's trying to play for the red in the same pocket.
8. Chappel 8.
Needed to hit it a lot thinner than that. So that was a good chance squandered.
Yeah, all because he fell 3 or 4 inches short on the shot before. I think he's trying to work out if he can pot this red and go around the back of the black. He obviously couldn't, so decided on a safety shot, which isn't the greatest. He wanted to hit that red past the middle pocket, making Tony's safety more difficult. As it is, Tony can leave the white at the top of the table now.
The reason that Robidoux didn't play safety into the baulk area was this red. Obviously eminently potable from distance.
He's hit that well, that's a good shot.
Chappel playing a solid, no frills game.
And even that sort of game can win you a world championship.
Well, it could win you this one, possibly, but the reason I believe that Chappel never got above 37th in the world rankings is that he didn't have that extra gear to really turn it on. Hard to beat, but against the top players, very unlikely to grab a match by the scruff of the neck. That plant isn't smack on. But not too difficult to manufacture. And it's had the secondary effect of splitting a lot of reds into potable positions.
Yeah, they have split absolutely lovely, haven't they? Nice angle on the yellow. He'll play for a group of reds here. Wow.
3.
He had options, and one of them was to go nowhere near the pink. He's still on this red, but he's queuing over 2 balls. This is very tricky. Cue ball.
Chappel 3.
Because the cue ball hasn't dropped in the middle pocket, Robidoux hasn't got an unmissable opening shot.
Well, he's looking at the red that Chappel left. Slight bend, that's a decent shot. Needs a tiny bit of fortune here. He'd be over the moon with that.
1.
He's putting bend on the cue ball. As soon as the white makes contact with its object ball or the cushion, you don't really know exactly how it's going to react. That's a good shot.
Eight.
Overcut.
Alain Robidoux, 8.
And again, because of poor position on the last shot, that red was made slightly more difficult, and he missed it. Now, if he has an angle on this blue, which he has,
1.
all the reds are open, all of them are off each other, none are on a cushion. He can play with the black. This is a real chance. He would expect to score heavily.
Six. Seven.
Buckle up, Clive.
Shot clock in operation. $14.
Well, this is very similar to the set out and the layout he would do on a practice table. Spread all the reds open around the black spot.
15.
Just a question of stun and screw shots. Bit loose positioning there. Still has a red
22.
to the opposite corner pocket.
$23.
Slightly further from the black than he has been earlier in the break. But he's going along very nicely. He knows this is a match-winning chance.
30.
And one thing he's got to contend with, possibly,
31.
is a rising sense of excitement.
There's so much I want to say. It is still the afternoon, isn't it? Best not. Yeah, it's funny how the winning line can affect players.
Robidoux wondering whether he's going to get back to the table.
That wiped his feet again, but Tony won't mind as long as they go in.
38.
As I said, all the balls are spread so well, he would have practiced this every single day of his life from here.
Not in the last 12 years he hasn't.
39.
Yeah, you're right. When you take that into account, it is amazing how good his cue action looks. We said that yesterday as well.
$46.
41 in front. Getting near the winning post.
$47.
Oh, just tiny little stun shots here. Pink into the middle, stun the white for the Red into the bottom right hand corner. Might even use the other red as a little break. Here you go, just flick the red. All gentle shots.
$53. $54.
So as long as he pots this pink, his opponent will need a snooker.
Yeah, the pink will be 60. Possible 1-1-1 on the table. I wouldn't even dream of predicting it. You know what the commentator's search is all about, Clive? Let's try it the other way. He definitely won't get a ton. How about that?
$61.
Tony Chappel has put an immense amount of concentration into this meticulously controlled break. He's going to be a semi-finalist, at least.
68. So, 69.
Fancy it, Clive, or not?
There's certainly no technical reason why he shouldn't make a century.
Yeah, that's not why I asked. That will be the answer to, do you see any technical reason as to why he wouldn't get it? Fancy it, Clive, or not? Come on, Clive, give me something.
75.
I think he's well in control of himself, so I think it's more likely that he'll make it than he won't.
Still not committed yourself yet. Disappointed, Clive.
$76.
And all the colours on their spots.
I'll ask you when he gets up to the pink ball, shall I? Let's not forget, he's into the semi-finals. He's beaten Alain Robidoux 2-0. Well, that could have travelled slightly more. He's shaking his head, he's got to use the rest now.
No century, alas, but with that splendidly controlled break of 83, Tony Chappel beats Alain Robidoux by 2 frames to 0.